All right, here we go. So I want to show you how you can start to do your research to find an agent or find a manager. Now, what you're probably going to want to do is to get a Google spreadsheet together or an Excel spreadsheet together where you can keep track of all of the people that you're researching. So maybe you'll do a couple columns, one has the agency name, the person's name, their email address, when you contacted them, when you followed up, what their response was. You really want to keep track of this, especially if you're going to be, cold submitting to 50 or 100 agents. You just want to keep track of everything you're doing. So definitely get yourself a Google spreadsheet, which would be great. And then you're going to use IMDb Pro to do some research. So if you're not already if you don't already have an account with IMDb Pro, you definitely want to get one. I know it's an extra expense and that can be really annoying, but IMDb Pro is something that myself and my clients use all the time. And it's really great because it's contact information for agents and managers and everyone that you need to get in touch with. And you can see who is repped by everyone and you can see casting directors and all that stuff. So you really want to get yourself an IMDb Pro account so that you can do what I'm about to show you. All right, guys. So one thing that might be great for you to do instead of just doing what I'm going to show you is to actually pay attention to TV shows when you're watching them. So what you want to do is you want to look at a TV show and look at the co-stars and guest stars who are on that show because we want to see who is representing them. So, I'm going to type in here, This Is Us. That's a hot show on TV right now. So you'll search This Is Us, and what's helpful though, instead of just having to find the co-stars on IMDb, sometimes it's more helpful to notice them when you're actually watching so you can see who is what. And by the way, guys, if you don't know the difference between co-stars, guest stars, series regular, these are terms that you want to educate yourself on that you can definitely find more about probably on the SAG website. But essentially a co-star is usually the first kind of credit that you'll get. Sometimes you can jump up to guest star. You don't necessarily need a co-star for anything, but it's usually where people start. A co-star is the smallest part. It's usually under 5 lines. Usually they call it an under 5, and it's just a couple lines, and it's not a character that necessarily moves along the story. It's usually just the waiter that says, "Can I take your order?" or just someone who has just a couple of lines. And a guest star is someone who has many more lines and they are actually moving the plot forward of the story. And sometimes a co-star or a guest star can be recurring, which just means that they are in multiple episodes, right? So usually it's a guest star that's recurring, but I have had a client book a recurring co-star, actually, I think once or twice. So that's the breakdown of that. So, and then of course a series regular is someone who is one of the leads that is in every single episode. All right, guys, so you want to start on a TV show by looking them up. Then I would go to one of the seasons. So we're going to go to the episode breakdown so we can see who the cast was in a certain episode. By the way, can I just take a moment and be really excited about all of the amazing angel number synchronicities right now? Look at this 444 phone number and this 5555 here. Oh, baby. Okay. I'm really into angel numbers, and that's usually a good sign when you see them. So I'm really excited about that. Okay, guys, so then I will scroll down to an episode that is aired. So where are we? Let's click on this episode. And then we can see the cast breakdown just for this episode, which is helpful so you don't have to look at the cast for the entire show. Okay, so obviously we know if you don't watch This Is Us, but usually the first several are the series regulars. So these are all the series regulars. So I'm going to scroll down, and I actually watched the show, and I did see someone who is a guest star on the show. Let's see. By the way, guys, guest stars, you can also win Emmys for guest stars, so don't you knock those out. All right, let's see. Mrs. Phillips, do I remember who that was? Oh, I think that was the parents. So that was a guest star, but she's kind of well known. So let's find someone who's not as well known. Let's see. I was going to do nurse. So here's a surgery nurse. All right, the nurse in the surgery. So she doesn't have a name. So when they don't have a name, that's usually a co-star. So let's click on this. So usually when you want to get You want to try to book something that has a name, and that's usually a guest star, but sometimes a co-star can have a name. All right, so now we looked up this girl, and look, when I click on her, immediately we see all of her agency information. So I can see that she is with Aqua Talent, and she also has Abrams listed here, which is a little confusing because I wonder why she has both. Maybe she just hasn't updated her thing, or maybe Abrams is for commercial or something, because that one says theatrical. Okay, and I actually have a client at Aqua as well. So that's really cool. So you can see here is her Courtney. So that's the same rep that one of my clients has. That's so cool. Okay. And then you can see down to her manager is this company, right? So, okay, Abrams is her commercial. Boom, I got it. All right, guys. So what does this mean? What can you do with this information? That means you can see that this agency is representing someone who booked a co-star, and that's really awesome. So what you can do is you can click on this talent agent name, the agency name, and I guess we could go to seeing Courtney. So if we click on Courtney, okay, so it'll load her clients. Oh, snap. Okay, so she has 545 clients. That is a lot of clients for one rep. So this is just something to make note of. If they have a ton of clients like that, 545 clients for this one staff member, you're probably going to get lost in the shuffle a bit. I will say that my client who is with Courtney, who signed with her this year, is actually doing pretty well and has actually gotten some really great auditions and booked a studio film. So I still think that this is a good agency to look at. Oh, and look, they've got some more well-known talent too. But yeah, so this is how you can look up the agents, and you'll see all of their contact information. So here is Courtney's email address right here. So when you're doing your cold submissions, you can send an email right to her. So that's why this is so great. IMDb Pro is so great because it shows you the contact information, for Aqua Talent, for the agencies, which is really great. Okay, so I'm just going to go on let's look up one more person just to see what else we can get. Okay. Let's see. Here's another nurse. Let's click on this nurse. Okay. So this person has a different agency and a different manager, right? And you've got their names right here. You've got their email addresses right here, which is great. So I would add these to your list. These are people who just booked a co-star, one episode on This Is Us. That's a huge show right now, right? So, these are definitely great people you can reach out to. So you always want to just do a double check and look at their page. And you can see, okay, they've got a pretty big staff, right? 16 more, wow. And you can see some are talent agents, some are doing equity, one is a CEO, one is doing voiceover talent. One is, let's see, stunt and sport department, right? So this is really helpful for you to be able to see all of this. The youth division, for kids, commercial division, all that kind of stuff. This is really helpful information to help you figure out, who you want to do. Let's say you're like, oh, voiceover. I have a great voiceover reel. And I want to do voiceover. Like one of my clients specializes in voiceover. She already has a really great agent. But you could look up this person and be like, oh, cool. He only has 61 clients. That's not too bad. I should reach out to him. Right? So this is how you can find information out about these people. Another thing you can do is, and again, I know this is time consuming, but it's something you can consider. So let's see, who was the person that we were first looking at here that this person had? Okay, Stu Golfman. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna just do. I'm just gonna look him up on Facebook, Stu Golfman, because if you can find out any information about them, like maybe they went to the same school that you went to, maybe they went to Maybe they're from your hometown. Like something like that can be really helpful when you're sending out a submission. Now, you probably won't find much about any of these people, and that's totally okay, but it's still worth it to check. Okay, so here's this person, found him. Let's see, is there anything information? Okay, so he studied at University of King's College, Halifax. Okay, cool. So I don't think that's even in the United States, is it? No. So that's something that, oh, is it? Oh, maybe it is. Okay. But that's something that can be really helpful to like try to find out information. Like maybe you went to the University of King's College, Halifax too. And you could be like, oh my God, dude, we went to the same school. Did you have this teacher? You know, like something like that to form some kind of human bond, a human connection outside of the industry. So that's something that you can do too, just to try to get some information. This is really funny. He's like talking about seeing Beau Bridges at Gelson's. I wonder if this guy lives near me because that's probably my Gelson's. That's hilarious. Okay, guys. So that is a great way to do some extra research on the person. So again, guys, you just want to make sure that you're getting a spreadsheet where you can track all of this. You want to keep track of everyone that you are emailing. You know, you want, you probably want the agency name. You want the agent name. You want their agent email, date emailed. I'd say notes, because maybe you'll email them and then say, oh, I should follow up on this date. Date followed up. You know, things like that. Like you really want to keep track of all of this stuff so that you can go back to it and see when you need to follow up with people and all that kind of stuff. And you can do this for managers as well. This is not just agents. I think you should go for both. Absolutely. So you can look at agents. So this was this person's manager. So this person only has 51 clients. That's a really small roster. So this is definitely a manager that I would reach out to. Avi Simon, right? And again, you can look that person up on Facebook. Now you can see what he looks like. Okay. You can't see anything about his profile, anything about him. You can also look them up on Twitter and on Instagram and other social media to see if you know anything about them. Here we got nothing. That's all right. It's okay if you don't have anything to go on or nothing in common, but it's just an extra thing that can help you, in your search. So this is great. Now, the other thing that you want to do is you want to, when you're looking up, so this is how you find people who are representing actors who have co-stars, who have guest stars, right? Because we started with This Is Us. The other thing that you want to try, because we want to broaden the search, because if you do what I just showed you, you might only come up with a list of like 10 or 20 so agents or managers, and that's just not enough because this is a numbers game. You really want to be reaching out to like 50 or 100. So in order to get more, and instead of having to like look up every show, what you can do is you can find lists of agents. And I believe that Backstage has one. I should be able to link to one below that I think some of my clients were using. And it's just a massive list. I think Samuel French might also have a list of reps. I can't remember. But you can Google it and just find, list of agents in Los Angeles. And you'll find a massive list. And then you can look them up. So let's say I'm going to look up one of the agencies I know off the top of my head. All right, so this is an agency that a client of mine just signed with. All right, so clients. So if you're working from that list, you're just going to type in the name of the agency in the search bar. And then you're going to come down and look at the clients. Now, what you want to do, so they only have 17 clients. That's a super tiny roster, and this might be a newer agency. But they've got a Beverly Hills address, which is really good, which you always want. You don't want sometimes you don't want an agent or a manager with like an out-of-town phone number or address. You really want it to be LA. All right, so what you want to do is you want to see if any of their clients are working or have booked anything this year. So I will click on this first person, Emily Rainey. Let's see if she booked anything this year. Filmography, films and production, 2018. Let's see, television. Okay, it looks like she booked some things. Oh, Ray Donovan. So she booked Ray Donovan. It looks like it was a co-star on Ray Donovan in 2017. And then some other things that I haven't heard of. All right, so that's something, right? And so then you want to keep going down the list and see if you can find, if these people are booking. Let's see, this dude. Okay, great. Look at this. Oh, he was doing stunts. Okay, so this guy does stunts too, but still, so he booked 2 episodes on The Orville. So that's great. And that says for 2019, so maybe it's an episode that hasn't aired yet. So that's great. So you see that they do have people who are booking, and because if they are booking something this year, that means that they're getting the auditions. They're getting those network auditions. And some of these people might be getting the auditions, but they just haven't booked anything yet. So you just want to look at the list and see if they have clients who are booking anything when you go to that broader list. All right. So, yeah, so that's what you're going to do. A bigger agency like Paradigm Agency, they've got a lot of clients working. A bigger client, a bigger place like Paradigm, they usually only take people who already have credits. So look at their clients. Okay, so you see their star meters. They have clients that are much further up. And look, it gives you all of their reps. So they have all these reps. So some agencies will have like a team of reps working for you, and some will just have like one that's your agent. They all work differently, and all of it's good and okay. But awesome. So these people are super high on the star meter, which is great. And you're going to always see that on like a Paradigm, an Innovative, an Abrams, some of these agencies that are, a slightly higher tier. Cool. So this person has 14 titles already that they were in. Oh, this person was an actor a long time ago. Anyway, guys, I hope that this is helpful. So this is exactly how you can go through and search for an agency. And remember, how do you know if they're a good agent? Well, 2 things. You're going to look to see if they have any clients who are booking anything this year. And then you are going to use your clear intentions list to see if they're good for you. So you're going to cast the net super wide. You're going to cast that net really wide, not just the 10 or 20 that you find through the co-star research. You want to look at the broader list and try to get 50 to 100. And then if you get meetings with any of them, you do not say yes unless they match your clear intentions. All right, guys? So that is how you use IMDb Pro. If you have any questions about this, pop them in the Facebook group, because I'm sure everyone else in there has similar questions or might be able to answer your questions. And I, of course, will be in there once a month until the end of the year answering your questions live. But this is a really great way to find an agent and get that research started. Ready? All right, get that IMDb Pro account and start going for it.